Threadmill is a group of 15 makers from different creative disciplines who work, collaborate and exhibit together. Through our workshops and social events, we learn from each other and develop our individual strengths as practicing textile artists. We're committed to the wider promotion of textiles as both a decorative and expressive art form. The theme of our exhibition was chosen to reflect the flow of water around Ellesmere Port and the continuous ebb and flow of life. The original development of the rivers and the canals to support the industries of textiles and chemicals created unique environments. These environments continue to evolve, and this, alongside the day-to-day life of the canals and their people, have been rich sources of inspiration. Our individual artists have utilised their own perspectives and textile techniques to explore the human and natural life of the area. Angela Oswald has hand-painted and machine-embroidered her version of a poppy seed head in transition from beautiful flower to seed pod. It's showing the complex multitude of cells which hold the water and the nutrients to help create the seeds. It's hand-painted and machine-embroidered.
Carol Stowe has needle-felted Kate the Killer Queen Kingfisher using merino wool carded bats and Angelina fibre highlights.
Gillian Crompton was inspired by newspaper images and has sketched and on holiday to produce this piece. Painted calico with oil pastels and images drawn with machine stitch add texture and form, and applied translucent fabric helps to portray the end result.
Jane Hadfield has been inspired by the colours of the seashore and the shells, stones and natural forms found there. This piece is a hand-painted and stitched fabric collage incorporating machine and hand stitch.
Jane Rogerson has used a piece of denim for the background. She has stitched the large cogwheel into place before adding the various bits of discarded watches, clocks and jewellery.
Janice Fine has used mixed media collage, embellished with hand stitching, to give an impression of a view across water.
Jean Marsden was inspired by an old rusting barge in the boat museum at Ellesmere Port to produce this textile. Rusted fabrics were torn into strips and appliqued onto a rusted background with hand stitching.
Jenny Riddell has hand-painted calico and then free machined embroidered the birds in the background. The piece was completed with button embellishment.
Jo Prather has used strips of organdy and organza to layer and hand stitch a background. Fronds of seaweed have been cut from coloured silk organdy and hand stitched into place.
Judith Warrender has machine stitched water life on a background of natural fabrics complemented by ribbons. The addition of stencilled canal side artefacts finishes off the piece.
Liz Smith's inspiration was a drawing of a bowl of mussel shells to produce this hand-stitched linear composition. The piece was worked on recycled linen and dyed scrim squares with DMC cotton and silk threads.
Lynn Atkinson has used a selection of vintage materials to create a textured background. This has then been embroidered with poppies, grasses and a harvest mouse. Hand stitching is used for both detail and background.
Ruth Smith was inspired by the tiny but well organised and decorative living areas on working narrowboats to produce this textile. This vignette of canal lifestyle was worked with paper, found lace and self-printed fabrics, together with free machine stitching.
Sue Gibson was inspired by microscopic images of algae. This textile is constructed from machine-stitched wool tops and breakdown printed fabric. Then using water-dissolvable fabric, it was sculpted with wire.
Sue Law was inspired by limpets that clung tightly to a sea-worn rock, waiting patiently for the next high tide. Worked by wet felting merino wood and embellished with silk, glass beads, hand stitching and shells.
We hope that you've enjoyed previewing some of the diverse textiles we're exhibiting. In addition to the video, further examples of the individual artist's work can be viewed on the Threadmill website. The Ebb and Flow exhibition at Ellesmere National Waterways Museum is open until January 2022. If you're interested in purchasing any of our work at the gallery, please contact the museum directly or send a query through our website.